Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today we are here to discuss another chapter, that is tissues. So let's begin. You must have noticed that there is a huge building. That huge building is made up of small subunits. What we call those units, those subunits are known as bricks. Right? So with the help of bricks, we can say that buildings are made up of. Similarly, this is the case of our body. For example, we have our body and you can compare it like a building. Same, our body is made up of small subunit or blocks. Those are known as cells. So we can say that our human body or our body is made up of small subunits or blocks known as cells. Similarly, if it is the case of plants or animals, they both are made up of cells. Now, when the cells aggregate, it means when the cells combine together, they form tissues. This is what we are about to learn in this chapter. And when tissues unite together, they form an organ. And when various organs work together, they are known as organ system or their functioning. Their functioning is known as organ system. For example, in our body, there are many systems like digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, hormonal system, reproductive system. So there are many systems. If we talk about the tissues in both plants and animals are different. In both of them, they don't have the same types of tissues. In plants, they have different tissues. In animals, they have different types of tissues which perform specific functions. Now, let's see that cells, when unite or aggregate together, they form tissues. So, tissues are the group of cells which perform specific functions. In unicellular organisms, for example, amoeba, a single cell performs all basic functions. How? How is it possible in them? So, for example, in amoeba, it is made up of a single cell, or we can say that a single cell is a complete body. In the body of amoeba, the cells do not aggregate to form tissues. So, there are no further hierarchy like we have just seen in case of our body. So, this is what we can say that multicellular organisms, they show division of labor, that is division of cells. There is a hierarchy of the system of organization. But in case of unicellular organisms, this hierarchy is missing. Now, let's see that in our body, there are many systems like muscular system, digestive system, circulatory or transportation system, excretory system, and there are many other systems also. We have specific organs to perform different functions which are correlated with these systems. But in case of unicellular organisms, their body is not well developed. They don't have specific organs. So, specific organs are lacking in unicellular organisms. So, multicellular organisms, they could be plants or animals. They are made up of millions of cells, and these cells carry out only a particular function. Now, there are many examples in our body with the help of which we can get to know that various shapes of the cells are there which depict the specific functions. For example, in our body, the muscle cells, these cells are spindle shaped like this. These muscle cells when contract and relax, because of which the movement is possible. So because of this activity to be done, the shape of the cell is important. Similarly, if we discuss about the nerve cells are long enough to carry out messages or electric signals or electric impulses from one neuron to another. Next, blood transportation of oxygen, food, hormones and waste material. Blood is responsible in our body for the transportation of various types of materials or substances like food molecules, oxygen, hormones, waste material. Oxygen can be bound to a pigment or a respiratory pigment known as hemoglobin. Food involves glucose, amino acids and various types of salts. Hormones, there are many hormones which are poured by the body directly in our blood. So hormones, for example, there is a thyroid gland. Thyroid gland secretes its secretion, that is hormone, directly in the blood, and the name of the hormone is thyroxine hormone. Next, come to waste material. Waste material is transported by the blood, and those waste materials are in the form of nitrogenous waste like urea, uric acid, ammonia. In different organisms, the nature of excretory material is different. In some, the nitrogenous waste could be ammonia, in some it could be urea, and in some it could be uric acid. Now, moving further, let's say this is our blood capillary. In our blood capillary, the blood flows. The blood flows, or we can say the red blood cells also flow inside. They bind hemoglobin. So what happens that the shape of the RBCs are biconcave like this, somewhat disc-like shape. This is just to make it possible to pass through this blood vessel. So this is how the shapes are different in the cells, which are specific to perform some functions. Now, come to plants. In plants, there are vascular tissues. Vascular tissues are also known as conducting tissues. They are known as conducting tissues because they conduct various types of nutrients, water in the plant from the soil. So vascular tissues or conducting tissues are xylem and phloem. Multicellular organisms, as we discussed earlier, that they show division of labor. That is, one cell divides to form another cells. This cell again divides to form another cells. So this is how the chain is occurring here. The chain is made. Now we can say that this cell is made up of the pre-existing cell. Moreover, when the cells combine together, they form tissues. When tissues combine together, they form organs. When organs perform together, they form organ system.